In this video, we're going to talk about how to simplify algebraic expressions using the distributive property and combining like terms. So what we're going to do in this lesson is basically put everything we've learned all together. When you have really complicated algebraic expressions, you may need to use both the distributive property and combining like terms to simplify. So remember, our goal is to make our expression as simple as possible. So let's try simplifying this expression, negative 2 times 3x plus 4 minus 2x. So we're always going to start off using the distributive property when we have a factor that's in front of a parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute this negative 2. That's going to give me negative 2 times 3x plus negative 2 times 4. Remember, it does not distribute to this minus 2x, so I'm just going to write it at the end of my problem. Negative 2 times 3x will give me negative 6x plus negative 2 times 4 is negative 8, and then I have minus 2x at the end. So here I have a combination of signs. I have a plus negative, which remember turns into a subtraction sign. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 6x minus 8 minus 2x. Now we're going to go through our problem and look for any like terms. I have a negative 6x, and I also have minus 2x. So I'm going to combine these two terms and then leave that minus 8. So negative 6x minus 2x is going to give me negative 8x minus 8, and that is now my simplified expression. So a quick tip. So something that gets a little bit tricky is when you're distributing after a subtraction sign. When we do this, it's really helpful to remember that subtracting is the same as adding a negative. Some people will call this adding the opposite. And so what I'm saying here is that if we have something like 3 minus 5, remember that's the same thing as saying 3 plus negative 5. You can see here in either case we'll get negative 2. So I'm going to extend this idea when I'm working with these problems. So you see here I have 2x minus 3 times 4x plus 1. I'm going to turn that into 2x plus negative 3 times 4x plus 1. So instead of this subtraction, I turn this into an adding the opposite. And that's going to make it a little bit easier for me to distribute when I'm working with this problem. So let's look at that. We have 2x plus negative 3 times 4x plus 1. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this as a negative 3. And so that's going to give me 2x plus negative 3 times 4x plus negative 3 times 1. So that's going to give me 2x plus negative 3 times 4x, which is negative 12x, plus negative 3 times 1, which is negative 3. And now let's take care of these double signs that we have. So the plus negative, remember, will turn into a subtraction. So 2x minus 12x minus 3. And so now we can combine these like terms that we have. We have a 2x and a minus 12x. So those will combine, giving me negative 10x minus 3, which is my simplified expression. So now let's try simplifying this expression. So this is similar to the problem we just did. Notice that we're distributing after a subtraction sign. So I'm going to start off by rewriting this problem. I'm going to write it as 5x plus negative 2 times 3x plus 1. So I'm going to distribute this negative 2, and that is going to give me 5x plus negative 2 times 3x plus negative 2 times 1. So I have 5x plus negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x plus negative 2 times 1, which is going to be negative 2. So now let's take care of these double signs. Both of them are plus negative, so we'll just turn them into minus signs. So 5x minus 6x minus 2. Now let's combine these like terms that we have. We have a 5x and a minus 6x, which is going to be negative 1x minus 2. And remember, in algebra, we usually don't write those 1 coefficients. We're just going to write that as negative x minus 2. And that is our simplified expression. So now let's try simplifying this expression, 2x plus 5 plus 3 times 6x plus 1. So I'm going to start off always with my distributive property. And remember, you have to be careful. The distributive property means that only the factor that's right in front of the parentheses is going to distribute. We're just going to leave this 2x and 5 alone. Okay, so only the numbers that's written right there, right next to the parentheses, is what's going to distribute. So I'm going to have 2x plus 5 plus 3 times 6x plus 3 times 1. So 2x plus 5 plus 3 times 6x is going to be 18x plus 3 times 1 is going to be 3. So now let's put our like terms all together. So I have 2x and I have an 18x. So let's write them together. And then I have a 5 and a 3. So I'm going to write plus 5 plus 3. Now I'm going to combine these like terms. So 2x plus 18x will give me 20x. 5 plus 3 will give me 8. So that is now our simplified expression. So now let's try simplifying this expression. So we have negative 1/4 times 8x plus 12 plus 4. So I'm going to distribute this fraction, and all the same rules we've been using still apply. So it's only going to distribute to the 8x and 12. So we have negative 1/4 times 8x plus negative 1/4 times 12, and then the plus 4 at the end. Remember our rules of multiplying fractions. I'm going to turn these whole numbers into fractions by putting them over 1. And then I'm going to cancel my common factors. So 4 will go into 8 2 times. And then 4 will go into 12 3 times. So when I multiply everything out, I have a negative 1 and a 2 and an x. So negative 2x plus negative 1 times 3. So that's negative 3. And then I have plus 4. So once again, I have this double sign, this plus negative. So I'm going to turn that into a negative 2x minus 3 plus 4. Notice that this minus 3 and 4 are two like terms that can combine. So I'm going to combine them, so that's going to give me negative 2x plus 1, which is my simplified expression. So remember that you can use the distributive property in combining like terms to simplify algebraic expressions.